This is about standardization of, the data reporting, and therefore to ensure that it is reliable and accessible. Do you think there are some tweaks that are required on that space?
So I would say yes and no. I think one, we had a industry standard forum which in December actually gave us the various data points that needed to be there. So I think there was both the industry coalition and the regulatory imperative to sort of put it together. Do we remain open to further simplification? I think yes. The answer would be yes. The key is that I think it should be uniform and comparable, because when you have 1,000+ companies reporting, whether for rating analysts, whether for the market, I think if there is lack of comparability, then that is a challenge. So I think indeed we are happy to work towards that as well.
One quick point is, if you were to sort of compare India's corporate ESG framework, both in terms of regulation and compliance, how does it stack up globally, especially with the advanced economies?
I would actually say, I think maybe a qualified answer. So one, when we created it, we actually preceded many of the global standards. If I trace back to 2012, when the Ministry of Corporate Affairs published the BRR, I don't think the world was thinking of these reporting standards. When we came out with BRSR, indeed the working group which looked at it, compared it, and looked at international benchmarks which were then available, GRI, TCFD, and so on. So I think those learnings have got embedded into our reporting structure. But I don't think we are consciously trying to say that we need to have one particular global benchmark that we need to satisfy. I think we end up looking at it as that India has its own needs and own sort of evolution on this. So we rather that it evolves at the pace that we require and indeed suits our nationally determined commitments. So.
No, that's a very, very important point, because while corporate India and most parts of corporate India, in terms of their standards, processes, adoption of technologies and many other things, are globally benchmarked corporations. The company may just be located in India but is globally competitive. But when we look at the broader aspect of climate change, we realize that a large part of India still needs support. So that question was aimed from that point of view. As we went through this exercise, we had several companies who are not amongst the winners, who you will see later on today, reach out to us and say, hey, can we participate, or you didn't reach out to us, and that's why the results are completely driven by data and there is zero discretion applied by anybody. But I want to ask you, do you see a concern around ESG greenwashing?
So I think greenwashing is a risk and a reality. I think, in fact, yesterday, World Environment Day, I think I saw a small news report which complimented us on the launch of, as I said, ESG debt securities. I flipped the page and there was an entire story on greenwashing. So indeed, I think it's a reality. The way I would frame it is that we need to be conscious that, yes, these can creep in. There might be inadvertent creeps in terms of companies just claiming and yet not realizing that it is untrue. Those that are consciously misleading. And I think we will make, some of those steps and actions towards those that do it consciously. I would take the example of the BRSR and the BRSR core itself. So one of the data points which people have to put out is that, do you have water consumption? And I would tell you that there's no company in the top 1,000 which would not have water consumption. Right? Yet there are corporates which actually reported zero. Now, I'm hoping it was inadvertent and not, conscious misleading. But this is the degree where, something as innocuous as that can lead to maybe a risk of, problems.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.